So something really strange just happened with Donald Trump. And honestly, it says a lot more than he probably intended. A reporter asked him a very basic question, and somehow his answer turned into a complete mess. And the more you listen, the worse it gets. Lately, Trump has been all over the place. And moments like this are exactly why it matters. When reporters actually press him, what's wild is these were not even tough questions. They were simple, almost easy. And he still could not give a clear answer. So just stick with me, because this one really shows everything you need to know. So at one point, he was asked a very simple question about what a good deal would look like. But his answer immediately started going in circles, talking about nuclear weapons and other things that didn't really add up when you think about what he has said in the past. Just watch this. So something
Good deal look like for you?
No nuclear weapon, number one. You know, I think it's already been regime change, but we never had that as a criteria. No nuclear weapon. That's 99% of it.
Strait of Hormuz as well?
Yeah, but that'll open up automatically. The answer is yes, but the strait will open up. If we just left, the strait's going to, otherwise they make no money. So the strait's going to open, but what we have is no nuclear weapon, but we'll open the strait anyway. Don't forget, we don't use the strait. Other countries use the strait. So we do have other countries coming up, and they'll help out, but we don't use it. It won't be easy. It won't be, I would say this, we will have that open fairly soon.
Now, if you're listening carefully, it already feels confusing. He's jumping from one idea to another, and it is hard to even understand what his actual plan is. And that becomes a pattern here. Then things get even more awkward when a reporter asks about the control of the strait and whether Iran is charging for ships to pass through. Trump first says no, but then immediately walks it back by saying nobody even knows if that is happening. Take a look at this moment. Now, if
You have a good team, and they meet tomorrow. We'll see how it all works.
You're not going to let them toll the strait, are you? I mean, it's international.
No, we're not going to let that. It's international water. If they're doing that, nobody knows if they're doing that. But if they're doing that, we're not going to let that happen.
So within seconds, it goes from we are not letting that happen to nobody knows if it is even happening. That kind of back and forth is exactly what leaves people confused about what is actually going on. And here is where it gets more interesting. Because even Fox News reported that there were signs of Iran controlling access and charging fees. So now you have got a situation where his own side is reporting one thing and he's saying something completely different.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. With high-stakes talks scheduled this weekend in Islamabad, Pakistan, an Israeli intelligence official tells Fox News Iran is indeed demanding fees for the few vessels it's allowing to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. This official adds the strait is effectively under full IRGC control. They decide who gets to go through, but more importantly, who doesn't. I am told that there is intelligence being shared in the intel community about how Iran is trying to tighten its grip on this strait ahead of the negotiations this weekend. Overnight, President Trump taking to Truth Social to talk about the issue, saying, quote, Iran is doing a very poor job, dishonorable, some would say, of allowing oil to go through the Strait of Hormuz. That is not the agreement we have. With just 8 vessels.
So now you have got two completely different versions of reality. And when that happens, people start asking a simple question. What's actually true? But the moment that really stood out came when a reporter asked something super basic. What is the backup plan if negotiations fail? That is a normal question. Any leader should have an answer ready. But what happened next left the reporter completely stunned.
What's your backup plan?
Excuse?
What's your backup plan if there's no deal opens?
You don't need a backup plan. We have the military is defeated. Their military is gone. They have, we've degraded just about everything. They have very few missiles. They have very little manufacturing capability. We've hit them hard. Our military is amazing, the job they've done.
He says there's no need for a backup plan. Just think about that for a second. In a situation this serious, not having a second option is a huge risk. Even in everyday life, people have backup plans. And here we are talking about something much bigger. Then he doubles down again, saying basically everything is already handled and under control. He says,
I wish him luck. He's got a big thing. We'll find out what's going on. They're militarily defeated. And now we're going to open up the Gulf with or without him. But that'll be open. We're going to be, or the Strait as they call it. and I think it's going to go pretty quickly. And if it doesn't, we'll be able to finish it off one way or the other. It's going well. The Navy's gone, the Air Force is gone, all anti-aircraft is gone, the leaders are gone, the whole place is gone. So we'll see how it turns out. So it's JD, it's Steve, and Jared. They have a good team, and they meet tomorrow. We'll see how it all works out.
But not everyone agrees with that view. In fact, John Mearsheimer had a very different take, pointing out that the situation is a lot more complicated than it is being presented.
And the fact is, we can't win a war of attrition. It's just not possible. Let me just give you 6 points that illustrate that. Think about this very powerful Navy that we have, that President Trump talks about using to open the Straits of Hormuz. We can't put that Navy anywhere near Iran, certainly anywhere near the Strait of Hormuz, for fear that it'll get sunk to the bottom of the Jolly Roger by either Iranian cruise missiles or Iranian drones. You understand that the Navy is parked far away from Iran and not, therefore, very useful. Bases. We had 13 bases in the region, 13 major bases in the region. The New York Times has reported that of those 13 bases, all of them are either badly damaged or destroyed. In terms of ground forces, a ground invasion, people in the media talk about 40 or 50,000 troops being located in the Middle East, and this implies that these are 40 or 50,000 combat troops. That's simply not true. You need infantry divisions or Marine brigades or whatever to wage combat, ground combat against Iran. And President Trump has only recently moved 7,000 combat troops into the region. 7,000 combat troops. You could do hardly anything with 7,000 combat troops. And
So when you put all of this together, it paints a very different picture. On one side, everything is described as being under control. But on the other side, there are clear signs that things are far more complicated. It wasn't a complicated question. It wasn't a trap. It was just a simple question. And the answer ended up raising more questions. At the end of the day, moment like this sticks with people because they reveal how someone responds under pressure. And sometimes, a basic question can tell you even more than any long speech ever could. If you found this breakdown interesting, make sure to like and subscribe because there is a lot more moments like this that people are talking about right now.